The White House is attempting to suppress speech on social media, showing us it's more important than ever that we speak up on this bonus episode of IndieFender. All right, so we got an important episode today, but before we jump into that, I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by the Kevin Blair team over at Element Funding. Element Funding is your one-stop shop for all of your mortgage lending needs. The Kevin Blair team is not only a great supporter of the show, but they are an opportunity for you to support a business that supports the things that you believe in. So they're a great place for you if you're looking for buying a home, if you're refinancing a home, or if you're going to build a home. You need to check out the Kevin Blair team over at elementfunding.com. All right, so just recently, Jen Psaki in a press conference no less than admitted that the White House is working in conjunction with social media groups to, let's just say, censor free speech. Now, how are they doing it? Well, the way that they have been doing it for the past year and a half almost. They're saying that they're doing it because it's in the best interest of the people, because they're trying to protect people. Of course, why they're doing it? They're doing it because they're trying to make sure that accurate information about vaccines are getting out there. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't believe them at all. Simply because Democrats and the left side of the aisle have been going after social media companies for a long time. They want you to believe that Republicans have been as well. And in a sense they have, but for a much different reason than the left. The left wants to control social media and their messaging. And I'm even going to include liberals in this too. Because I think so much of the dichotomy between these two groups, and it is stark, sometimes has overlap. And I think that there is overlap here in this particular message, and it's a dangerous thing. Now, they want to do it because they want to control these social media companies and make sure that the messaging that they get out is the messaging that they approve. Whereas the Republican side of the aisle, the conservative or even libertarian side of the aisle, wants these companies to be controlled only insofar as that they are not controlling what we say. So there's a total difference between these two worlds of one party wanting to make sure that they can control social media and the other side of the aisle wanting to make sure that social media is not controlling us. So it's disturbing, needless to say, when Jen Psaki gives a press conference and she says this.
First, we are in regular touch with these social media platforms, and those engagements typically happen through members of our senior staff, but also members of our COVID-19 team. Given, as Dr. Murthy conveyed, this is a big issue of misinformation, specifically on the pandemic. In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government, we've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook. There's about 12 people who are producing 65% of anti-vaccine misinformation on social media platforms. All of them remain active on Facebook, despite some even being banned on other platforms, including Facebook, ones that Facebook owns. Third, it's important to take faster action against harmful posts. As you all know, information travels quite quickly on social media platforms. Sometimes it's not accurate, and Facebook needs to move more quickly to remove harmful, violative posts. Posts that will be within their policies for removal often remain up for days. That's too long. The information spreads too quickly. Finally, we have proposed they promote quality information sources in their feed algorithm. Facebook has repeatedly shown that they have the leverage to promote quality information. We've seen them effectively do this in their algorithm over low quality information, and they've chosen not to use it in this case, and that's certainly an area that would have an impact.
All right, in our time, we have a decision to make. For you Christians out there, this is not a decision like past decisions like, do you want Bibles and prayer in schools, or do you want to accept Roe v. Wade is the law of the land and just move on? No, this time the question is, do you want a socialist country or a democratic one? I know some will say, come on, we're not even close to that. But I know too much about history not to be alarmed by what's going on with this kind of violation of free speech. Don't let people lie to you. We are 100 on the cusp of a very ideological shift in our nation if we're not careful. Now listen, I know America is not perfect, and I'm not trying to say it doesn't have issues. Change is always hard, and we need it. Likewise, I also know this. We're living in a critical time in our country, and if we don't act, we will see this country change fundamentally like it never has before. And perhaps in a way we will never be able to come back from. It's time to act. So I do believe that we have a choice, and we're seeing it constantly in our present administration. Do we want to lean more left and more socialist, or do we want freedom? For those of you who believe it's a false dichotomy, this.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh?
And this.
Come on, man.
Sincerely, I want to tell you this. I could tell you to read all sorts of things to prove my point, but all you have to do is watch or read any of the big corporate news media organizations. Let's face it. If you still listen to these imposters, you're part of the problem. Sorry. Whenever the places that are supposed to inform us get in bed with a political party, it spells disaster for a nation. If you don't believe me, listen to the news and ask yourself, why are they going after Facebook and social media at a time when the news media is losing their control over the public narrative? Things that make you go, A political party getting in bed with the media is a reoccurring story in history. And it's part of the story of Russia's downfall. It's displayed so good in a movie I want to encourage you to watch. It's called Mr. Jones. Patriots, this is a movie that is disturbing but necessary. You need to watch it, though. So I believe we have some issues, but I also believe we can do something about it. What should you do? We need to post about this stuff on social media. Fight back against the White House fighting against the First Amendment. Joe Biden said they have blood on their hands the other day. What?
On COVID misinformation, what's your message to platforms like Facebook?
They're killing people.
I mean, seriously, look at the statistics. Don't listen to that stuff without evidence. If you listen to the statistics, it will tell you Facebook has actually done a good job of trying to help people get vaccinated. There's something else at play here, I think, than with that being the case. And I think it sounds more like extortion from the White House and from our president to make sure that these people in big tech acquiesce and do what they say. You should be incredibly concerned about this, because if the White House or political leaders, just generally speaking, have a history of using things to extort the public, I don't know, like public health issues, and maybe you can look back to 2020 until our present to see how that's taking place, then I think we need to pay attention when it seems like they're extorting companies like social media to do their bidding. The ploy to control social media is obvious. Biden didn't reach his 4th of July vaccine goals, and he needs somebody to blame. Furthermore, today independent citizens on social media can hold corporate media accountable and undermine their monopoly on messaging like never before. Those who crave power rather than to serve you will never allow that to stand. So you need to share content just like this stuff. By doing that, you encourage people to appreciate our country and its history, warts and all. Invite people to friendly dialogues on social media. Do a Facebook Live with somebody you disagree with or somebody you just want to dialogue with. I know, scary, right? That means you can't hide anymore and you have to get informed. But you need to have that pressure to come out of your corner and engage the world thoughtfully.
Come on, man.
This is for my brothers and sisters in the church now. Stop insisting upon a false binary, that if you talk about politics, you can't talk as a Christian. I am so tired of this stick your head in the sand form of Christianity that will leave us with the fruit of our labor when we look back, and we won't like it. Jesus is called the cornerstone in Scripture, which means everything in our life must be built upon him, period. And that means robust faith does not keep quiet and pray in church. It concerns itself with the issues of our day and uses the tools we have at our disposal to do something about them. Please remember, there is a price to silence. If the church in the world ever becomes quiet on the issues that matter most, we're in trouble. And by the way, don't just echo a political party, right or left. Don't certainly echo the news media. Find the truth for yourself and speak things that, for the love of God, are logical and make sense.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true and international effort to pressure.
So be kind, be compassionate, but also be bold. Unzip those lips and do not back down. Our country needs you, and this country deserves to be defended. So I'd love to know what you think about that. I'd love to know what you think about the media and the White House pressure to control social media. Write that down in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. You can catch brand new episodes of Indie Thinker with Reed Huberman every Monday and weekly bonus episodes to keep you thinking throughout the week. But you have to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new episodes drop. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video and share it with friends.